You've been adjusting yourself your entire life. Your language, your image, your opinions, shrinking yourself to fit the room. BTS just stopped doing that, and the whole world moved toward them. Welcome back to English with Bruce. This channel is not about grammar. It's not about vocabulary. It's about the moment a person stops asking for permission. Today, one word. The word 7 men chose for their return after military service, after years of silence, with every eye on the planet watching. They could have chosen anything. They chose Arirang. Let me tell you what this word means, because without this, nothing else makes sense. Arirang is a song without an author. No one wrote it. It has no fixed lyrics, no official version. Over 600 years, ordinary Koreans added to it, changed it, sang it differently in every province, in every village, every generation. It's a song about separation, about someone you love leaving and not knowing if they will return, about longing so deep it has no bottom, about sorrow that does not ask to be resolved, only to be felt. The Korean word for this feeling is Han. Han is not sad. Sadness passes. Han is the weight that stays, the grief woven into the people who have been displaced, colonized, divided, and scattered across the world, and still somehow kept going. Arirang is what Han sounds like when it becomes music. And here is the thing that matters most. The word Arirang itself has no fixed meaning in modern Korean. Linguists believe it may have meant my beautiful beloved in an older form of the language. A word for someone you love. A word for someone you have lost. A word that carries both at the same time. There is a moment in Korean history that changes how you hear this song. August 1910. Japan annexes Korea. The Korean language is suppressed. Korean names are replaced. Korean culture is treated as something to be erased. But Arirang could not be erased. It had no single author to silence, no publisher to shut down, no official text to ban. It lived in the mouths of grandmothers, farmers, and children. It crossed borders in the bodies of people who had nothing else left to carry. Korean independence fighters sang it on the way to execution. Koreans who were forcibly relocated to Manchuria, to Sakhalin, to Central Asia, sang it so their children would know where they came from. When Korea was divided at the 38th parallel in 1945, families separated overnight sang it on both sides of a border they did not choose. Arirang was not preserved. It was lived. That is the weight of this word. It is not nostalgia. It is not folklore. It is the sound of a people refusing to disappear. In 2012, UNESCO added Arirang to its list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. But Koreans did not need UNESCO to tell them what they already knew. Arirang had already survived everything. Now hold all of that. BTS grew up inside this history. They are Korean men who were born into a country that knows exactly what it means to be told your culture does not matter, who built their careers in an industry that told them repeatedly that Korean artists had a ceiling. The global market had limits for them, that they would need to translate themselves to be accepted. And they did translate themselves for years. Language, sound, image, emotion. They studied the global system, mastered it, and won inside it completely. But here is what BTS understood that most artists never do. Arirang did not survive 600 years because it translated itself. It survived because it refused to. Every time a Korean grandmother sang it in a language she was forbidden to speak, she was not trying to be understood by the world. She was trying to remain herself inside it. That is the choice BTS made when they named this album. They were not reaching toward the world. They were reaching toward something older, something underneath the fame, the strategy, the global machine. They were asking, who are we when we stop adjusting? And the answer they came back with was not an image or a concept. It was a 600-year-old song that their great-grandmother sang under occupation. That is not a branding decision. That is an act of memory. BTS did not just name an album after a folk song. They named it after the exact emotion their fans have been living with for 4 years. Think about what ARMY, BTS's global fan base, went through. The group that they loved most went silent, not by choice, by law. Military service, one by one, until all 7 were gone. No albums, no tours. Solo projects, yes, but not this, not together. 4 years of separation, 4 years of longing, 4 years of waiting. That is Han. But let me stay with that word for a moment, because if you're not Korean, you may not feel its full weight. Han is not anger. It is not grief. It is not nostalgia. It is all of them at once with nowhere to go. Imagine a feeling that has been accumulating in people for centuries. The feeling of being wronged and having no way to respond, of losing something precious and having no one to hold accountable, of loving someone across an impossible distance and not knowing if the distance will ever close. Han does not explode. It does not demand. It does not resolve. It settles quietly into the body, into the culture, into the music. Koreans say you are not just born with Han, you inherit it. It is passed down through history, through family, through every song that was ever sung in a language someone tried to take away. Arirang is the sound of Han that refused to become bitterness, that chose beauty instead. Those who chose to endure. And ARMY had been living inside that feeling for 4 years. When BTS came back and named their album that, they were not making a cultural statement for critics to analyze. They were saying, we know what you carry. We carried it too. The old Arirang was sung by people separated from those they loved, unsure if they would return. The new Arirang was made by people separated from those they loved, who finally did. Same song, 600 years apart. March 21st, 2026. First full album after military service. Maximum global pressure. Every label, every platform, every media outlet is watching. Every rational strategy said the same thing. Go broader. Go easier. Give the world what it already knows how to receive. BTS chose the one word that does not translate. The one word that will not simplify. The one word that requires you to understand something about Korea, about Han, about 600 years of survival before you can fully understand it. The one word that says, you come to us. That is not instinct. That is a declaration. This is not safe. Let me be precise. When you remove the translation layer, you remove the distance. And without distance, if the world says no, it is not rejecting your music. It is rejecting you. That is the real risk. That is why almost no person ever does this. The world did not say no. It moved toward them. Record first day streams, global charts, sustained attention weeks after release. But the numbers are not the story. The reaction is. The world encounters something that made zero concession to being universally understood and responded anyway. This is what most people get wrong about authenticity. They think it is a value, something soft, something personal. It is not. Authenticity is gravity. It pulls. At the beginning, BTS translated themselves. They had to. That is how you enter a room you were not built for. You learn it, you earn it, you prove you belong. But if you stay in translation forever, you stay small, because real power does not begin when the room accepts you. It begins when you stop needing it to. When you bring what is most deeply, most specifically most unapologetically yours, not despite where you came from, because of it. If this is the kind of thinking you want more of, subscribe. This channel is not about content. It's about clarity. Here is what Arirang teaches. The room is never ready. You make it ready by having the courage to stop adjusting, the patience to wait for the world to catch up. Arirang was not written to be understood. It was written to survive. And 600 years later, the whole world is listening. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.